Hey TechKnowStuds! You know, there's a lot of advantages to taking our files and folders and storing them in some sort of cloud storage. That might give us access to wherever we go, whether we're working remotely or maybe we're traveling, and still having access to those files and folders no matter what. So let's take a look in this lesson what cloud storage looks like. Here's an example of what a home network might look like. And what we have is maybe a file server on there, or maybe we have a computer. But the problem is we may have access to those if we're on a computer on the local area network, but we might not have access to that if we go traveling and go somewhere else. What we could do is we could use cloud storage. Cloud storage saves things up in the internet or the World Wide Web or however you want to view that. So the cloud represents the internet, where all of our data is being transferred back and forth. There's still a physical machine out there. There's still some place where your data is being stored. There's some sort of network attached storage or file server or something to that effect up in the cloud that's storing your data. But we represent it as a cloud because we're not exactly sure where it's at and where it's being stored at. And so now, since it's up in the cloud, in the internet, we have access no matter where we travel to, as long as we have a connection to some sort of data connection. So let's look at some examples of cloud storage. I got 4 examples of cloud storage that I use on a regular basis. And so one of them is Dropbox right here. Another one is Office 365 OneDrive. Another one is Google Drive. And another one is a Amazon Web Services S3 bucket. So I serve a very different purpose for me. Some of them have a little bit of overlap with how I use them, but Dropbox I feel like is an amazing company. They specialize in this type of cloud storage. That's what they do. And so it really is a way to streamline. I install the client on multiple laptops or multiple machines that I have. And then whenever I drop a folder into one of the Dropbox folders, then it shows up on all of those machines. And it does syncing really well. Now I will say that these other 2 here do syncing fairly well as well, although Dropbox has been doing it excellent for a long time. So I love Dropbox and I use it on a regular basis. Next up, we have OneDrive. This is a Microsoft product right here. And OneDrive is cloud storage. And it's great for if you're doing any kind of Microsoft documents. Now, what I find is Microsoft documents, they were a little rocky from the cloud perspective at first because they weren't designed to be in the cloud. The cloud came later. But they've really ironed out a lot of how it operates. So I'm pretty happy with how OneDrive operates now at this point. And I think that Microsoft documents, like if I wanted to create a Word document here, Microsoft documents, Word documents, Excel, workbook, PowerPoint, presentation, are superior in the feature sets that they offer. I love using these Microsoft Office 365. This is all part of Microsoft Office 365. And I think it's a great offering, and I use it for when I really want to get granular in my documents and how I control the documents and how I share it out. Next up, we have Google Drive, and I probably use Google Drive the most. It's built in the cloud, and so it's really seamless in the way it works and how you can share out your documents. So I think it's great. I've used the syncing client before, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I probably use most of my documents are Google Documents. So I probably use this one the most out of all 3 of these options that I've just mentioned. So I think it's great, although it's not really feature rich like Microsoft is. So if you really want to have control over your documents, I like Microsoft better than Google. But if you really want to have availability through this web interface, then Google has been doing it for a long time. So I do like Google Drive quite a bit. There's another cloud storage that I'm going to show you. It's not used as much for users, it's more for businesses, and that is in Amazon Web Services. And you create these buckets, and then you can share out the buckets to either your internal infrastructure if it's built up in S3, or you can actually just create a web page using one of these buckets and set it up as a web page and put HTML files in there. So I'm not going to go through the whole process of creating these, but this is just an example of of how I can create more of an enterprise level storage. And S3 is amazing for what it is. I don't use it as much anymore because I don't have a need to share out a lot of files via something like this, an enterprise level system. But I love Amazon Web Services. I've used it for years. In my last company, I migrated everything to Amazon Web Services, and I think it's a great system to use. But it's very different than the Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox in that, once again, it's really designed more for sharing out files on an enterprise level, not on a user level. So it's meant for more enterprise systems like servers or, like I say, web pages. The goal of this video really isn't to compare and contrast these the pros and cons of each one of these, but really I just wanted to give you a sense of what cloud storage looks like and some different versions of cloud storage that you could use out there.